Hey guys! Okay, so welcome to the second episode of Talk Time with Kay. It has been a hot minute, I know. YouTube's not my forte, I guess. But something actually sparked my interest, and I guess a lot of your guys' interest as well. A couple days ago, I posted a video on my Instagram of me having one of the worst panic attacks I can recall. And I posted it for a lot of different reasons. One, normally when you're having a panic attack, nobody catches it on video. You're not recording yourself, and someone actually did have it on camera, which I later found out and wanted to use for a good purpose. And so I posted that video to try and bring some awareness and some light onto mental health and mental illnesses, because I feel like in a lot of countries, and especially living in Malaysia, I've come to find that nobody really understands it. You know, even some people in my family don't understand it. Some of my friends might not understand it. And it's very hard because it jumps and varies from person to person, and it's very different, and what triggers one person will not trigger the other. And so I find that it's a very hard thing to understand, and even me myself, I am definitely really bad with understanding other people's anxieties or other people's mental health. You know, I try and I might understand it more than another person who doesn't have any form of mental illness, but it's a lot bigger and it's a lot deeper than a lot of people make it out to be. And I feel like it's belittled so much, and you're told you're crazy, or you're this, or you're oversensitive, or oh, it's all in your head. And I'm telling you, yeah, it is in your head, but you don't want it to be in your head, you know? I don't choose this, I don't want this. And that was the point of me posting that video. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength. It takes more strength to ask for somebody else's help than it does to keep quiet. So please always remember that, and just always know that there's someone out there who feels exactly like you or worse. And it's very hard to imagine that, or think that somebody else could think these weird thoughts that you think and stuff, but I promise you somebody out there does. Because as you can see from all the love I've gotten, I mean, it definitely showed me how many more people there are out there, especially in Malaysia, who are dealing with the same things. It's something that's different for everyone. Like I said, it's very, down to the tiniest details, it could be very different. The kind of mental illness they suffer from, the kind of symptoms they have, the way they react to it, the way they don't react to it. So always be patient. Everybody's always fighting a battle you know nothing about. I mean, I don't think a lot of you guys saw how bad it can get sometimes with me until I posted that video, which is why I did it. It was not to make me famous. It was not to go viral. It was genuinely because I personally want to make sure that everybody understands that what you see on social media and what happens in real life is sometimes not true. Pictures are photoshopped. You only take pictures of the good times. You're not taking pictures when you're breaking up with someone, or when you're sad, or when you're crying, you know, like, I mean, I do sometimes, but I'm also very weird. So, you know, it was just trying to open everyone's eyes and say, like, look, like, everything is very different sometimes from what you see, so don't judge a book by its cover. Honestly, it was overwhelming. I got so many messages, so many comments. Like, there's still comments coming in right now. Somebody posted it on Twitter, and it ended up going somewhat viral-ish. Now, I wouldn't call it viral because I don't really see it that way, but I am very happy that I feel like a lot of people have gotten something out of it, and I've gotten so many nice messages, so many people. I've gotten so much love that honestly I feel really blessed and really happy to have been able to spark something in so many of you. And it's nice to know that there's so many people out there who do really care about somebody who they've never met in their entire lives, you know. But there were also a lot of people who didn't understand it, and a lot of people who made comments that just didn't make sense to me, or had nothing to do with mental health at all. And these are the people that I want to try and educate, because a lot of them went to religion and said, oh, she's not religious, God is trying to punish her. Oh, it's because she needs religion, or make jokes of it, like, oh, she looks like she's about to give birth, or this or that. And it's fine to make jokes. I'm not someone who's oversensitive about jokes, you know. I'm pretty sure the people who know me know that. But it's very frustrating when mental health has nothing to do with religion and nothing to do with anything that like surrounding that, and yet so many people commented about religion. And it doesn't matter if you're Muslim or Christian or Buddhist or an atheist and whatever it is, it's just not the point. And it could be anybody that suffers from different conditions. There's so many. I personally suffer from really bad OCD, anxiety, and sometimes depression. And it's really hard. So I decided to go to Instagram, as always, and I decided to do a Q&A with you guys. So these are some of the questions that I'm going to read off of you from Instagram. I'm just picking the best of the best questions that I can maybe try and, you know, explain better. So the first one is, how many times would you say you get panic attacks like this in a week? From Alia Fahada. So I don't really count them, to be completely honest with you, but I will say that I have anxiety at least once a day, which is really bad. And the people closest to me, Sean, my parents, my close friends, even my close friends, I try to just keep quiet. With my family as well. Like, Sean's probably the one person I bug the most, which I feel kind of bad about, but you know, he hangs in there. It's very hard. It affects people around you a lot, and it's hard when someone's in a good mood and you're there going absolutely fine one minute, and the next you're like, your heart's pounding and you're like, I have anxiety all of a sudden, and you don't even know why. You don't know how to stop it. You don't know why it got triggered. Sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't. So I don't know how many times I actually have a panic attack per week, because panic attacks are the really severe ones for me. I just have anxiety 24/7. Panic attacks are when they're really bad and I actually have to take medication for them. The next one is from Rizwan Arif. Is it a surprise attack, or can you sense when it's around the corner? It's a very good question. So sometimes for me, it starts off with a tingly sensation, like you have ants or what do they call it? Pins and needles. So it starts in my hands and it goes, when it's really bad, to my face and to my arms and my legs, and my muscles start contracting, and therefore I either cannot close my hands or they kind of go like this, which looks really weird, but that's what happens. Is this whole muscle right here that controls my forearm tightens up. And the other day, the one in the video that you saw, my mouth actually tightened up, and that was really scary because that was the first time that had ever happened to me personally. And so that was definitely a scary experience. So yes, sometimes I can feel them coming on and I'll take the medication that I've been prescribed, but then sometimes it just happens so sudden, like it did that day, where you tell yourself you're okay, but you're not actually okay. And sometimes you need to realize that, you know, it's okay to not be okay, but in that circumstance, it just came really fast. So it was a bit hard to, and I was in a very complicated situation at that time. But yes, very good question. What are the levels or conditions that will make you reach the panic level, and is it easy for you to be at that panic level? Okay, so there are different things that bring me to anxiety. My OCD leads to my anxiety. OCD stands for obsessive compulsive disorder, which a lot of people mistaken for being cleanliness, for being a clean freak. OCD does come in that form. I mean, if you've ever seen the TV show Monk, that he had OCD and it was a cleanliness kind or whatever. And I know a lot of people who have that kind of OCD, but mine is obsessive compulsive in the sense where I feel the need to do things multiple times. Now, I used to not tell people this because it makes you sound crazy, but I've come to not give any shits anymore because it is what it is. I don't like that I have it. I wish I didn't have it. It does control a lot of my brain, but unfortunately, it's something that a lot of people deal with, and if we don't start talking about it, it's never going to be brought up, and I'd like to be someone who can make a difference. So basically, I feel the need to do something repeatedly until my brain and body feel satisfied. Otherwise, I feel like something bad is going to happen. So that's when your mind starts playing on your biggest fears. Death of your family members, something bad happening to your family members or to your boyfriend or to your friends, something bad happening in general, like your plane crashing, because I have a fear of planes crashing. And so if for example, if I don't wash my hands 3 times, then my plane's gonna crash later tonight. So if there's something that's like if I have a flight the next day, my OCD will be very, very, I hate packing, I hate doing all these things because I'll have to touch something a certain way this many times, or I'll have to eat this many spoonfuls. It's horrible. It's horrible because you can't even focus sometimes. And I don't tell a lot of people this, but like I said, like, because so many of you are asking, I want to be open with you guys. You guys know I'm always an open book, and so it's really horrible to have to always deal with this on a day-to-day basis. Now, remember, this never leaves my mind, ever. And it's so horrible that there's no medication that can just put your brain on pause and say stop for a second. And it sucks. But I'm sure there's a lot of people out there with it worse that can't leave the house even, and stuff like that. So I have to count my blessings and realize that I can still do a lot of things, and I try to overcome it. And I mean, it is what it is. Oh, I don't think I really answered this guy's questions. So like, yeah, so basically what makes me reach these conditions and stuff is my fears. Your fear is what drives your mental health, or at least mine. I can think about my parents dying, or something happening to Sean, or my sisters, or my friends. And this is what plays a very big part to my mental health, because it's my deepest fears. And so it plays on that and eats that up alive. And yeah. This one's from _Oyayan_. My friend has anxiety very bad, but I don't know how to help her. I need to figure out more about this. Okay, so that's a very good friend that you'd like to learn more. Learning and trying to understand mental health is probably the best thing you can do for someone or for yourself, is to just be more open to it, be more aware, be more understanding, try and gain more knowledge on it, because that's the only thing you can do, unfortunately. Always be patient. Honestly, patience is key. It's not something that goes away. It's not something you can tell someone, get over it. It's not something you can tell someone, well, why are you like that? Or just think happy thoughts. It does not work that way. I will tell you right now. It doesn't. If it was that easy, nobody in this world would have a problem, okay? So always be patient. It sucks. It sucks so bad, especially for the people closest to you, but all you can do is try and learn more about it, talk to them, try and get them to open up to you and tell you why or what it is they're feeling, and that's all you can do, is try and just be a good friend that way. This one is Zuhaidi Hilmi. He said, what caused your panic attack the other day? Okay, so I have a very, very, very big fear of death. So when my grandmother passed away, I thought I was okay, and it wasn't about her passing away at the time, it was about death itself. And so I was fine, I was calm, I thought I was doing good, and all of a sudden something came over me, and it was seeing everything happening around me, and it just panicked me. And it's one of those things where it just went really fast, really quick, and that was it. Snap, boom, I was having a panic attack. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I was screaming, and I was like, Mom, I'm gonna die. I just, like, it was horrible. But yeah, that's a day-to-day thought that comes through my mind. That's also not very fun. Honestly, a lot of things can cause my anxiety, so, or panic attacks, so it's not just one thing. _Friena_. She says, how do you help someone having an anxiety attack, and what should I do? That's really hard, because depending on the person, I mean, even I don't know sometimes what people can do for me. Sometimes it's just nice knowing I have somebody around me that I care about, or that cares about me, or like, you know. So it would be Sean, my parents, my sisters, or my friends. As long as they're there and they're telling me, you know, it's gonna be okay, even though it could be a lie, like, that makes me calm down just a little bit. And yeah, having a familiar face. Sometimes people need to just take a deep breath in, or they need space. Sometimes the best thing to do is give them space. If they say they can't breathe or whatever, if you're all crowding around them, that's probably gonna make it worse. But each person is different, so these questions are very hard to answer, because like I said, everybody is different, and so it's a very, very sensitive topic. And the next one is, are you on medication to control your anxiety? If yes, what type of meds are you on? From ID_Osman. So I only have one medication that I take, which is called Xanax. It's a controlled medicine, in Malaysia especially. It can be used as a drug, so that's why you have to be prescribed it. It's also very hard, because if you take too much of it, a side effect is depression. So I don't even take a full tablet when I take it. I take half at a time, and that normally does the trick. And I try my best not to take it hardly ever, because you need to save these things for the days when you're really bad off, like that day. And it worked for me because I don't take it every time I feel. If I took it every time I had anxiety, I'd be on medication every single hour of the day. So you have to try to a certain degree and try and learn to control it, or learn to work with it, because you can't be on medication your whole life. You can't. I don't want to ever depend on it. However, sometimes I do need to, and I'm sure other people do need to as well, but that's the only medication I take, and like I said, I try not to take it so much. The next question is from Sahib Singh _00. Since when have you been having this? Okay, so looking back on my childhood, I think I always had OCD, and I always had, my mom always called me a worrywart because I was always worrying about things. But as a child, you don't know, you're not exposed to these kinds of things, and so you don't understand what it is or what it means. I think it was only when, in 2011 was when something triggered me, and I went, something's not right. And it just, I feel like it's gotten worse, or stayed, it goes high and low, and it's been that way ever since. And there are days when I look back on that specific day, because I know exactly when it happened, and I go, oh my gosh, I wish this didn't happen, or I wish I'd changed something, and maybe my whole life could be different. But it's not, and that's not how life works. So such is life. The next one is from _Shah Ikmal. How do you overcome the anxiety or mental health problems? By the way, get well soon.